Let's play a game. It's almost trade deadline time. Yeah, the time is ticking. And Brayden Schenn might be somebody that moves. And I want to play a little game called Where Would Schenner Go?
Hey, this is Brayden Schenn. Subscribe to Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I'm your host of the show, and I cannot wait to talk to you about today's episode. My name is Haley Taylor Simon. It has been 4 seasons that I have been covering the St. Louis Blues, and I've been a fan my whole life. I'm a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. On today's episode, I want to talk to you about which potential teams could we see Brayden Schenn ending up at. Hofer, in my opinion, would struggle if we end up trading Jordan Binnington, and I'll explain why. And of course, my favorite Friday segment, the only repetitive segment on this show, Are We Feeling Blue? Where we talk about if it was a good week or a bad week for the St. Louis Blues. So let's get into things. When it comes to Captain Brayden Schenn, this has been a name that has circulated throughout seasons now about where he could potentially go. I feel as if it's important to say this. He does have a no trade clause. However, I do believe that he has about 13 teams that he's willing to waive that for. We don't know the teams. We don't. But what I can say is this. The Blues are not going to get any better fast. They're simply not. This team, they're not going to the playoffs this year. And on top of that, I don't think that they can even do it next season as of now. For somebody like Brayden Schenn, who's in his early 30s, who's played a significant amount of time in the NHL, who's won a Stanley Cup, maybe for him, maybe it's getting another cup. Maybe it's being a part of another organization where he has that opportunity. However, I still feel like Brayden loves it here in St. Louis, and I also can understand in a sense, I don't know this personally, but if he wants to finish up playing with the Blues, he's a captain, his family's here, and at the end of the day, this is the team that he won a cup with. I think when it comes to Brayden, he is such a valuable player despite sometimes our frustrations with him. Do I think he should be a 2C? No. However, at the end of the day, that's the position that he is in. And he plays hard in this season. In my opinion, he's actually stepped it up. I think it's really easy for us to kind of look at the negatives when it comes to Brayden Schenn because, again, this whole season's been really bad for the Blues collectively. But I think it's also time where we focus on the positives and why he would be such a big asset to some of those contending teams. And there's one team, and this might sound maybe a little bit odd and a little bit out of the norm, and I don't know if this is a team that Schenn would go to because I think there has been some talks in the past, but I do believe the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I know what you're saying. Whoa, what do you mean? And let me explain when it comes to that one, okay? So when it comes to the Toronto Maple Leafs, I feel like this is a team that would actually make a lot of sense for Brayden Schenn. And I did mention that it almost did happen last season. There was some talks and it just didn't happen, right? And I feel like for this season, he could potentially be a big difference maker because at the end of the day, I mean, you're going to need guys that have that veteran experience in the playoffs. The Leafs for seasons now, they haven't been able to get it done, and it just makes sense as to why that would happen. And it's unfortunate because when you think of contenders this season, and it's a little bit odd, right? Because let's say for how it is, I don't think Brayden would end up on the Avalanche because I don't think Brayden is actually going to play for any team in the Central. That's just my opinion. However, A team that I'm a little nervous about. A team that I don't know how I feel about. Well, it makes me kind of think the Vegas Golden Knights. I know, and I know what you're saying. What an awful organization. And listen, I agree. I agree. However, there is some reports out there, some rumors and speculation that the Golden Knights are interested in Captain Brayden Schenn. How do I feel about that? Disgusted. I would be happy for him to have an opportunity, 100%, but I don't like Vegas. I don't. I also don't know if I'm able to look at Vegas as a real contender this season, only for the fact that they don't really have the goalies right now, to be honest. But that could be a real possibility. And of course, there's non-contending teams like the Sabres, even though they've been on like kind of a heater. So I'm like, maybe. They're a team. You could also look at the Montreal Canadiens. I know that we've done some business with them lately. And, even the Canucks, even Vancouver. I mean, Vancouver's down bad right now, but that's the one team that's doing worse than us. So I'm like, oh, do you really want to play for them? But there is a lot of talk about Brayden Schenn. The problem is we don't know the teams that he's willing to go to. And we can already eliminate a couple teams, right? There's 32 teams in the NHL. What teams do you already eliminate? Eliminate 2 teams. You would eliminate the LA Kings, as that's where he was drafted, and you would eliminate the Philadelphia Flyers, who did him dirty. I don't think he would ever go back to that organization, both of those organizations. I think that you can and should eliminate your Central Division teams. I would have, and this is why when I do mention some of these other teams, I just have a very difficult time. I can't see him going to a team in our division. I can't do that. I can't see him going to like Winnipeg. Oh my gosh, no way. I think for Brayden, his best bet is to go to a team in the East. Okay, I know that there's those rumors about Vegas, but I would highly recommend him going to literally any organization in the East. I think that being in the West, I don't know. I really think the Canes are the best team right now in the East, in my opinion, when it has a cup contending chance. I do. I think the Carolina Hurricanes have always been a really good team, as in recent. So maybe them, but I don't know if they're interested in him. That's the issue. It's really hard to speculate where certain players will go. Now, do I suspect Brayden Schenn to be traded at the deadline? I mean, it's a 50-50 for me. And I say that because I don't know if he would want to leave. But then the question comes to, well, if Brayden Schenn gets traded, who's your next captain? I say it's Robert Thomas, but others are saying that it would be Jake Neighbors. And I'm curious as to what you think because I go back and forth on this conversation with certain people all the time about who would wear the C. I really can't see it being anybody other than my guy, RT18. And it's really ironic actually because when it comes to Robert Thomas, a lot of people are upset with him and he's also right now in the spotlight when it comes to rumors about him potentially being traded as well. A lot of the veterans have been brought up, and I understand why. It's been a really bad season, and I completely understand, and I get that, and I sympathize. But you can't have a successful hockey team when all of your veteran players are gone. That's not how it works. Well, luckily, coming up, and yes, that was a segue because coming up, I am going to talk to you about why I believe Joel Hofer would struggle if Jordan Binnington got traded right after this. FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. Every game day during NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action. Because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts, and you can apply them to the bets you like the most. The boosts give you more juice on the bet you already like instead of forcing you to bet something new. So you make your picks, then apply your profit boost to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. I want to talk to you about something really cool and something that I personally love, and that is our Everydayer Club. You might be wondering, Haley, what is an Everydayer Club? Well, I'm glad that you asked, because for only $5 a month, you get no ads. Oh, by the way, on top of that, you also get an exclusive Discord with all of the listeners of the Locked On Podcast Network. In my opinion, it's so much better than Twitter, X, whatever you call it, because we're all in one place talking about the sports that we love the most with no interruptions. So the link will be down below. I recommend that you check it out and let me know if you join, because I'm having a lot of fun and I want to see you on there too. One of the big questions that I have is this: Joel Hofer. And that is a question because, well, he's having a pretty good season, as we've talked about, right? He has a much better save percentage than Binnington does this season, and he's been playing actually like a starting goalie. However, buckle up for this one, okay? If Binnington gets dealt at the deadline, I personally think Hofer will struggle knowing that he is the 1A. You might be wondering, why is that? Because goalies take a long time to develop. This is still a young kid who has a lot of learning to do. And why not learn from the best? And the best is Jordan Binnington. He's a cup champion his rookie season. Like, his credentials are there. I get it. I do. That Binnington season has been nothing but disappointing. But I talked about Love. He won't be ready yet. I think that right now, the best bet is to just run it back with Binnington as your starting goalie and Joel Hofer as your backup. I think that this is a very fluky season. And teams have bad seasons. Good players have bad seasons. It's inevitable. When it becomes a pattern, that's an issue. And has Jordan Binnington showed you throughout the years that he's a problem? Well, some of you might say due to his attitude, but the general answer should be no, that he is not a problem when he's in net. He makes some really great saves. I mean, his backhanded saves are absolute beauties. But besides that, he's a veteran talent on this team. And in my position, as somebody that's covered the NHL now professionally for 5 seasons and who's been a hockey fan my whole life, I have always said this. I believe in the playoffs, the goalie is the most important position. It's the most important player on the ice. And do I know if Joel Hofer has that in him yet? I don't know. He hasn't really been put on that opportunity with the Blues. Regular season games are one thing, the playoffs are a whole different beast. I've seen Jordan Binnington play extremely well in high pressure games, and maybe not so much this season with the Blues, but I mean, I've seen it with him in the playoffs last year. The Four Nations face off, I saw him play excellent in that winning game. I mean, the Olympics, I'm excited and I'm hoping that we see him as the Binnington that we all know and love. But my point is this: if you're so quick to make a move and to get rid of a player who has been nothing but lights out for your organization, for many years because of a bad season that he's having. Oh, by the way, all the open ice, that's due to the defense. So we can't blame everything on Binnington, okay? And then you're putting your young backup goalie in a position to where he has to be the starting goalie. You're going to set Hofer up to fail. And I don't know if he would recover from that. While it is an incredible opportunity, and I'm not denying the opportunity, it would be incredible for a young guy like Joel Hofer. But I think that it's an opportunity that will come within time. But right now, he is just not at that level yet. Maybe in a couple seasons, maybe. Who will know? But I feel like right now, every time he's in net, he knows the pressure that's on him because of how poorly the Blues have been doing. This whole season has been disappointing, to say the least. But I don't want that to continue on to next season. And I think a very preventable way to not carry that on to next season is to make sure that your goalies are both comfortable. Jordan Binnington knows better than anybody how to shake off a bad season or shake off a bad game. He does. That's who he is. He is a competitive person. He has that mentality. I mean, I don't know if there's any other player that I've seen in quite a while that has kind of the mentality that Binnington has. And I like Joel Hofer, and I think his development has been outstanding. I mean, Hof has been playing his best hockey this season, without a doubt. So you don't want to ruin that. I think that the plan is eventually Joel will be the starting goalie, especially with him getting more starts in net. And that even happened last season too, not even just because of this season being a train wreck by any means. So that is the plan. But you don't want to rush the plan just because you're in panic mode right now and you're trying to just put a Band-Aid on the problem. The problem comes down to this. It's the defense. I've said it once, I'll say it again. It's the defense. And if anything, you have to change up the defense, not your goalies. Playing in net is so mental. And maybe that's why after some of these losses, Binnington doesn't start the next game. And I know I'm tough about it because I'm frustrated about it, especially because he is the starting goalie for Team Canada in the Olympics coming up. And I don't understand how you can justify him being on the team and not Robert Thomas until I thought about it long and hard. I did an episode venting, and then I was like, okay, let me think about what Doug Armstrong said. He said in these high pressure situations that everyone in management agree that Jordan Binnington knows how to play those type of games. And they had no doubts about him. And then it got me thinking, when he's playing for Team Canada, he's going to have the best of the best Canadian defense on his team. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to be set up in such a much better position than he has been with the Blues. And maybe that for him will get that swagger back that we all know and love from Binnington. I'm okay with even some attitude. I am okay with that. You know why I'm okay with that? Because I care about the future of this team. And the future of this team, it does depend on a guy like a Jordan Binnington. Because he is mentoring and showing how well of a goalie he is to the young Joel Hofer who does look up to him. I've had plenty of conversations with both those players, and Hofer said that he looks up to Binnington, and Binnington says that he loves to teach Hofer. And it's such a great dynamic that they both have, and it's something very special, especially with, how tandems are these days. So you want your starting goalie and your backup goalie to be compatible. I do believe they have that. I just don't want to risk a position that we've never really had to worry about really until this season. And that's been our goalies. We've been pretty good about it. I mean, when Jakey Allen wasn't playing as well, we had Binnington. And you get what I'm saying? Like, we've always been able to manage our goalies. We have Love in the system now, who is insane. And I do feel confident that Binnington will get his swagger back at the Olympics. But most importantly, I know that he has a few years left on that contract. Okay, wait. There's no need to move him now, especially if it's going to help the development of Joel Hofer. Whew, what event. All right, I do want to remind you to subscribe to Locked On Blues here on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. Make sure to give a 5-star review. It helps me out. And you know what? It allows you to have your voice and for you to share your opinion. Now, I'm also on Twitter at Locked On Blues, where I usually am angry tweeting about the Blues. You don't really see me happy tweeting much. And I do this, one, I love talking to everybody, even outside the podcast. And two, sometimes I can't I can't contain my emotions, okay? I can't help it. I'm just so sick of always being upset and always being annoyed. So, with that being said, let's go to my favorite segment. Are we feeling blue? Was this a good week or was this a bad week for our St. Louis Blues? Well, I can tell you this now. Okay, and it's not just me saying it, everybody is saying it. The Blues are not a good team. What? Wait, the St. Louis Blues are not a good team? Well, no, they lost to the Oilers and then to the Jets. And right now, actually, they're playing the Stars and it's tied up again at 2. But you know what I will say, though, about the game against Dallas so far is that we have seen Bushi score, which is kind of rare, and we saw Dvorsky score. So how about that? I'm not upset about that at all, even though, like, Dallas is, like, low-key kind of outplaying us. But Bennington's in net, by the way. Now, I will say this. I don't care about tonight's game. I mean, I do and I don't. They always play tough against Dallas. So maybe that's why I'm not reacting as much because it's always their best hockey against Dallas. I mean, it's inevitable. And it's always a great game, but at the end of the day, man, you need to play good hockey against teams like, I don't know, the Winnipeg Jets, who were doing worse than you. Like, this is what I'm saying. Why is it that the Blues play really good hockey against really good teams and then they stoop down and play bad hockey to bad teams? It doesn't make any sense to me. And this is why I said what I said yesterday, that I want the Blues to lose out. So I don't know if I even answered my own question. Are we feeling blue? Is this a good week or a bad week? It was a bad week because this week was the week where I declared that this team should just tank. I've teased it. Well, maybe they shouldn't. Maybe they should. Blah, blah, blah. No, they should tank. It's kind of like, I don't know if you watch the WWE, but it's like when all the wrestlers are declaring themselves for the Royal Rumble now. I'm declaring the Blues to tank. That's my contribution to the St. Louis Blues this season is I'm telling you they should tank. It's more beneficial to tank. Hey, hashtag tank for McKenna. Hashtag tank for Stenberg. Hashtag tank to just do something right. And I doubt they'll be able to tank correctly. And I went on a whole rant about this yesterday. So again, I'm just so frustrated. And I know you are too. I am happy when it comes to our young talents. I told you my guy Dvorsky, boom, scores tonight. But the point is this. Our young talent are playing with more heart than some of our veteran players. And that's what annoys me. So for them, I feel good. For the other rest of the team, I don't. I feel like there's guys like a Sonny who plays well. Like there's certain players that are veteran players that play really well. But majority, it just looks like they don't give a bleep. I'm frustrated. Every single game, I stay up late to watch the Blues because first off, I'm a fan. Secondly, I'm a fan. And thirdly, I do a podcast. So I think for me, a lot of my built up frustration is that I am emotionally invested in this team. I think for an outsider looking at this team, maybe they'll have kind of a different type of mentality as to where maybe they're not as angry or annoyed, frustrated, enraged. But for you and I mean, if you're listening to this, you're a fan of the Blues. I don't think you're going to hate listen to Locked On Blues. If you're not a Blues fan, I mean, maybe if you want to like hear my reaction after your team beats us, I'm sure. But the point is, all of us collectively as fans have a right to be upset, to be annoyed. And I would question you if you weren't. We still show up to Enterprise. We still travel well. I mean, as fans, we are doing our part. But what we need right now is for the team to do their part, to hold up their end of the bargain. I think that collecting my emotions right now, the reason why I'm so frustrated, it's because of how much I care, how much you care, how much we all care. And sometimes when I watch these games, I'm just like, why? It doesn't make sense to me what I'm seeing on the ice. We have an incredible history when it comes to our team. Some of the best, actually, in the NHL have played in our team. And yes, I am talking about that 18-day stint with Wayne Gretzky. But Pronger, I mean, I could go on and on. I just feel like this is not Blues hockey. I know what Blues hockey is because that's what I've watched my whole life, okay? And it makes me sad that this is the way that Doug Armstrong is going to go out as GM, is having a team potentially finish last in the league. I mean, that's not what you want from your GM of 15 seasons who helped you win a Stanley Cup. Is it now? No, it's not. I just answered my own question. So, my frustration, it's because I know that they have the ability. Because when I'm watching them play against Dallas tonight, I see that fight. Why can't they bring that fight on all these other nights? Why? And that's what the players need to ask themselves. How is it that they're able to play such tough hockey against a team like Dallas, but against a team like Winnipeg, who has been struggling all season, they can't do it? And that's a question for them, not for you and I, because I know that we put all of our heart into it, right? When we watch. So there's gonna be a snowstorm. I'm sorry, I had to go off and say that. It's gonna be a really big snowstorm. I actually went viral on social media talking about it. I got like 200,000 like views, and it was like blowing up. So there might be like 19 to 20 inches of snow. I am saying this to you now. If I have a power outage and I have nothing on Monday, what I will do for you is this, okay? This is called my cell phone. I have no problem recording a video kind of reacting to some of the stuff from the weekend. I don't. I would make up whatever episode I need to make up, but you will be hearing from me. So again, if it's a video from my phone, that's because my power's out and I have no connection. But if you see my usual video, then that means that the snowstorm probably wasn't as bad as they suspected it to be. I say that just to give you a heads up. All right. I will talk to you later. And like always, let's go Blues.